So it's going to be an interesting period. So if you do have any questions, please ask them throughout, and we can cover them off at the end. So hello and welcome. The bits we're going to run through today, so it's a bit of an introduction into me and my role at Complete IT and the telephony side of things. Where we were and where we are today, so I think it's worth speaking about that. The product and some of the standout features and how it works. The process and how we do it differently to others. I guess the last point is don't panic. Everything that we're going to talk to you today, you don't need to remember all of it. If you can take some parts away, then great. But we're just at the other end of the phone if you do have any more questions. So, where were we? So, I think it's worth covering off. So, we started in telephony. So, we started offering telephony about 5 years ago. We've always done IT, but telephony was fairly new for us. We used a variety of different providers. So, we used to use third-party companies. So, you would call Complete IT for support, and then we would basically offset and call somebody else for support. None of them really worked for our clients. Why didn't it work for our clients? I think really it was difficult because it was a help desk to help desk scenario rather than us being able to support it ourselves. So we'd always call for support. So it didn't really work. The service they offered was not really in line with what we offered. So every time you called us to get something sorted for you, it would take us a little bit longer than it normally would. So it kind of tarnished with a bit of a bad brush, really. The product they provided was quite confusing. So telephony in itself was quite confusing. There's a lot of telephony terminology out there like ISDN and PBX and SIP. Well, you'll be pleased to know today we aren't going to talk about any of that. So we'll translate that into plain English for you. But yeah, the products were quite confusing. Our clients didn't really know what it all meant, which was a challenge. And it was difficult for us as a business because we didn't have anybody internally that understood it. It became quite a challenge to, I guess, translate that across. And the commercial aspect was also very difficult. So you may be one of those people sat at the moment, you get your bill come through for your telephony and it's quite confusing to understand because a lot of companies will start with what we would call a base license, and then you'd be able to have like small bolt-ons, similar to how the old mobile phone contract would work. So you pay for 50 text messages and 300 messages, and before you know it, it's really confusing and no one really understands what's what. So that's where we were. So we then launched our product called Complete Telephony. So 18 months ago we launched it. We went through quite an extensive tender process to go out and find a partner who could achieve all the things that we needed to achieve. So what were those things? They were to simplify telephony and make it really easy for our clients to understand, to be able to support us when we needed them, to be able to make it very, very straightforward for our clients to use because it can get quite complex. You'll be pleased to know today we're going to cover off a bit of a demo of it, and it's very straightforward, very easy to use. So how do we do it? So we support it all from our local help desks, which is key. So if you're a client of Complete IT, or if you're a prospect potentially looking to become a client of Complete IT, the key thing is it's all supported locally. So if you were based in Bristol, for example, and you had an IT support contract, the same people you'd call for your IT support, you'd call for your telephony. So what does that eliminate? That eliminates the problem of when you call a third party for support, what often happens is they will say that actually it's the telephony provider that's their problem, or the telephony provider will say it's the IT, or the IT will say it's the internet, and then before you know it, you don't know as the client who or where the problem lies. So it's a central help desk for all of that. We install it via our technical consultants. Again, really key. So what we did, we went through quite a long process of getting our team trained up to be able to deliver it and deliver it properly. So we do have quite an extensive process which we follow. So to give you an idea, we would come to your site, we'd check the site was okay for the phone system to work. Again, all via our local teams. We would write up a plan of how we deliver it. So effectively when the phone rings, whose phones ring first? Do we need mobiles ringing? Do we need computers ringing? Do we need to fire it out to home workers? So we do all of that via our technical consultants. We manage the process via our local office managers. So they will manage the whole process internally. So effectively project manage it, check we've got everything that we need, help with porting of things like numbers, because that can traditionally be quite a headache, moving numbers and moving partners. So we kind of make that a bit easy for you. with our local office managers. This is the key thing, really. I think if we look at a review of the clients that have decided to come and work with us for their telephony, what do they say? It really includes everything, so it's really not confusing. Every user, whether they want to just be able to make and receive phone calls from their desk phone, or whether they want to be able to have 3 devices logged in using different locations, again, it just includes everything. So you haven't got to worry about one person not being able to have something that somebody else has got. I think end to end, this is a key point as well. The client or partner, prospect, whoever it may be, would only deal with Complete IT, and that, I think, is a real benefit. So we're not going to ask you to start calling a telecoms company or ask you to start calling an internet provider. We'll do all that bit for you. So you know you can call us on one number and we'll get it sorted for you. And I think that really, if you look at the amount of time that would save, it's a big thing for our clients. And I think everything about the Complete Telephony platform really now is where we want it to be. So 18 months ago when we first set out doing this, I think we've really now got to a position where we're confident and comfortable. We've now got experienced individuals in the team that can go and deliver it. We've now got a great product, which we think is brilliant. And the beauty of the product is you're constantly getting new features and benefits, and I'll touch on those in a second. And I think there'll be an eye-opener for some people out there at the moment. So where are we now? So we now have it in-house. So it's an in-house telephony offering. We do use a third-party company. They effectively supply us with the phone system, but we would support it and install it from our local teams. We've now got over 1,000 live extensions in the last 18 months. So over 1,000 people effectively dialing in and making and receiving phone calls from the platform. So we've got 53 clients. So 53 of our clients have decided to partner with us for telephony. We have a great team of people skilled to deliver the service. I think this is really key. So the people that you deal with at Complete IT. So if you're a client at the moment, you'll know this. But if you're a prospect, you may not. I'd like to think that our clients think that our team are nice. It's the same team of people. So if you've got a consultant that's coming out to see you to deliver our Complete IT manager service, it will be the same consultant that comes out to see you to deliver telephony. Our clients have the solution, and that really is the key for us. So it makes our life a whole lot easier when the clients like it, know how to use it, because it's so easy. And I'm going to show you some of those features and the ease of use following the slide deck. So I'm going to go through some of the features and the standout features, what we think are the standout features of our Complete Telephony platform. Worth saying, before I go into all of this, everything that we're showing you in the next few slides is included as standard. So it's not like you're going to see something and go, oh, that must be an extra whatever pounds per month. It is not. It's all included in our basic license, if you like. So a phone system in 3 locations. So as part of the system, you get an app on the mobile, and that mobile app will run on iOS and Android. You get a desk phone, and as you can see, this is one of our desk phones from our demo kit. See, we've got our branding on there with our Complete IT Swindon logo. And on the right-hand side, you'll see that you get a soft phone as well. So I'll touch on the 3 points in a bit more detail. So the mobile, they all work together, so they all work as one system. So for me, if I'm sat in my kitchen as I am now, because obviously we're not in the office, I've got a desk phone in Swindon, and I've got a mobile app on my phone. If you were to ring my extension, which we'll show you in a second, everywhere rings at the same time. So it doesn't matter whether you're in the office or not. This will basically be a true enabler of helping you to work from home. So that's kind of the 3 locations. I'll touch on more on the soft phone at the end of the slides, because there I'll be able to give you a bit more of an in-depth demo of it. So the desktop app, what we call the soft phone. So what can you do from it? You can do conference calling, which is quite cool. It's a drag and drop functionality based system, which is really easy to use, and we'll show you some of that. You can run it on both Windows and Mac. You can control your phone using the device. You can upload your company contact list into there. We also talk to Gmail. So if you've got some Gmail contacts you wanted to make it talk to, so effectively your Gmail contacts, if they were to ring your extension, it would pop up in the middle of the screen and display their name. You can transfer calls. You can switch phones. You can also view your voicemail. You can share files and chat. We do integrate with Outlook and Exchange. So if you wanted to click a number, the phone system will just start dialing, and we'll show you some of that in a bit. The browser integration, we'll touch on which browsers are covered in that because we've got a slide on there, but that's quite cool. Department group messaging, so similar concept to your WhatsApps and your Facebooks. You can talk to multiple people at any one time, which is quite nice. We do also integrate with CRM systems. That really is a standout, and I'll cover off some of the CRM systems we integrate with and give you some insight behind how that works. So that's really the desktop app. The mobile app runs again, iOS and Android, hands off from 4G to Wi-Fi, so effectively if you walked out of the zone, the call wouldn't disconnect, which is quite nice. You get notifications in there. You can manage conference calls, so if you've got people that are field-based or out on the road, or even potentially working from home and want to use the mobile app, they can initiate conference calls from their mobile, which is quite a unique feature. You can update your presence. You can do online self-care on there, which I'll show you a bit more about that in a second in the live demo. And then there's chat coming soon. So chat's not quite there yet, but it's on the way. We're hoping to have that by the end of April. The handset range. So there's different choices of handsets. We've got the Yealink T46S and the Yealink T54W. These two handsets are the handsets that we include in our standard range. So you'll see they're quite a high spec phone to be included in the standard. Why is that? Simply, on the back of the device, the phone can basically act as a middleman between your computer and your network port. So basically, it's got gigabit pass-through, so it'll allow you to only have one network port, so you don't need to worry about adding new ports into your walls. The phones will do that. The T54W, for the clients that have got that phone has actually got wireless built into it too. So when we're talking about the current climate and everybody's working from home, I imagine there'll be some people out there which have got a phone system that's in the office, which unfortunately you're not able to make and receive calls from. This Yealink T54W, effectively you would unplug it from the wall, plug it in at home to the power, connect to your home Wi-Fi, and your extension will come online. And you would then be able to make and receive calls as if you're in the office. So that's the alternative to using the software on either the iPhone, Android, or desktop or Mac. Well, the T48S, which is kind of very similar to the T46S, but it's got a larger display with touchscreen. We've got a T58A, which again has got a foldable display, which is effectively the foldable version of that. You've got a Yealink W60P. Telephony terminology, we would use a horrible word called DECT. We like to call it walkabout phones. It's nice and easy to understand. Basically a phone you can walk around the office with, which would connect into that base station there. And then we do have conference phones available. That there is our standard conference phone. And they've got multiple speakers. So you can see if you had a conference room in your office, these two speakers next to them, you could basically put them at the other end, and then you can hear the sound coming through them, and they also act as a microphone. So it gives you the really high quality conference call that you probably want. So that's the handsets. Conferencing. So this is what it would look like on the software and how it works. So you would open the conference bridge there, and you could effectively drag and drop these people on the right-hand side into the conference room. I won't go too much into that now, because at the end of the slideshow, we're going to actually show you how the software works, and you'll get a better feel for it. But yeah, drag and drop for conferencing. Call recording. So we do include call recording as standard. It's a standard feature out the box. The call recordings, as you'll see here, this is effectively the admin portal, and you can see my extension down here. On the right-hand side here, you can see the little play icon. So really quickly, you can go back in and recover your calls. They are stored for 3 months, and you've got the option to auto archive after that. There is also a different flavour of call recording, which we won't go into today, but effectively there's a version which is like a PCI compliant call recording, which does really clever things such as picking up tone of voice. So it will pick up if when your clients are calling in, if they're happy, sad, or indifferent. It will also do things like keep it in ear out for keywords. So if you were using, let's use us as an example, so Complete IT. If you're a client of Complete IT and you rang in and let's say the service was brilliant, you can program the system to look out for the service was brilliant, so you know who thinks highly of you. And same on the flip side, if somebody calls in and says it's taken a bit of time to get a call back, the system's intelligent enough to pick that up and give you a report. So yeah, some quite cool things that we can offer with call recording. Voicemail to email. Well, so your voicemail, you can kind of retrieve your voicemails in 3 different locations. So you get voicemail on the soft phone, you'll get voicemail on the mobile app, you'll get voicemail on the desk phone, so you'll be able to recover them in all 3 locations. But we also send a voicemail with an MP3 file on it. So if you're, again, somebody that's field-based, that not necessarily in the office, voicemails are traditionally known to get lost in businesses. With our system, we like to think that they don't, because you get an email straight away saying who it's from, the duration, the MP3 file. But what we also do is we actually give you a transcription, so we use Google Translate. So we take your voice and actually put it into text. So gone are the days where you even need to listen to your voicemails anymore. You can just read them straight away. CRM integration. So we did touch on CRM integration earlier in the conversation. These are a range of the CRM systems we can integrate with. This list is growing, and there's 2 new ones on there which weren't on there 12 months ago. So the most common CRM systems, if you like, are on there. The one that we see a lot of is Salesforce. So how Salesforce and how CRM integration works in general is effectively we can make the phone system talk to your CRM platform. So when your customers call in, it will present their name on the screen, so you know who's calling, which is always nice. So you can give them the personal greeting which you'd like to do. But not only that, in the back end, it pops in, so it will pop up into your CRM platform, and you can basically type notes in the call, so you don't need to be searching for the client name, who you spoke to. It will just do it instantly for you, screen popping through the browser. Again, this is really one of the standouts, if you want to call it, from the out-of-box features. A lot of telephony providers will say that there's additional costs to this. This is, again, included in our basic license. Click to dial. So quite simply, click a number, see a number online, click a number, and the phone system will just start ringing. So really helpful if you're looking through Google and you want to ring people. If you're anything like me, you go to type in a number and you normally type it in wrong. This kind of eliminates that. Click the number, it will just start ringing. It'll either ring your mobile, and then when you answer your mobile, it will pass on to the next call, or it will actually ring through the software on the computer with a headset. So that's normally the preferred way of doing it. Contact center. So we do have contact center ability. So if you've got call centers, which you need to be, I won't go through all these features, but if you need to see any of these things below, you can see all that through contact center. It's really quite clever. So queue management is the one thing that stands out in queue stats. So you can see from the reports who's answered the most phone calls, who's been least idle, I think they call it, which is a nice terminology, but effectively the person that's answered the least calls. Time and state, so you can see how long people have been sat there for waiting for a call. And you can also see if people are rejecting calls and not doing what they need to do. And you can get all of that along the bottom. And then this slide gives you a bit of an insight behind what you can see from the call reporting. So you can see on the left-hand side, this is effectively like a dashboard. So you can see that we've had 41 calls, of 41, 37 were answered. And then if you wanted to, you could then go to the next layer, and that's actually clicking into your unanswered calls and thinking, right, we've missed 3 calls today, we need to ring these clients back. So it's really quite powerful. It's really quite a powerful tool. And a lot of our clients that use this say that we never had that before. So you can go back in and call people back and see if they did actually need to speak to you. So that's the contact center. So the last thing, really, to cover off on the slides, is the license and how it works. So this gives you a bit of an insight behind the cost behind it. So the service cost starts at £15 per user per month, and every user needs an extension and needs a license. So if you think about the way that you would license your Office 365, the way you license your telephony would be very similar. Inclusive of that, you do get a Yealink T54W. You get access to the mobile app, and you do get access to the software. So that includes everything. You get 1,000 minutes per month included in the license. So the 1,000 minutes are pooled. So an example would be, I'm a business and I've got 15 people. I would have 15,000 minutes to use across those 15 people. And so if one person uses 1,001 and the other person doesn't use any, you aren't paying additional call charges. There's an activation fee, so it's £100 per extension. Or if you wanted to go for software only option, you could do that, and the activation fee on there is £75. The agreement term based on these conditions is 60 months, but we do have 3-year options available too, and everything's collected via direct debit. So that gives you an idea behind the license. So I think next I'm going to show you an actual demonstration of the software and how that works. I think it's good to have a bit of a click around and actually see it in real life. So I'll just come out of the screen share a second. So, wait 2 minutes. So what you should be able to see now is my screen. Normally at this point say, can you see my screen? So I'm just going to have to hope that you all can. What you've got here is effectively the software, and all these people here on my screen are my internal extensions. So these are the people that would effectively work in my business. So how do you use it? To make a phone call, just tap phone, and up here you can choose which number you want to present. So I live in Chippenham, which I don't know if any of you know where that is. It's between Swindon and Bath, so in the southwest. But I can have all of the offices for Complete IT, so it's quite nice to be able to log into my phone system, no matter where I am, and ring, displaying our local office numbers. So yeah, kind of gone are the days where you need to go to the office. You can choose your caller ID. So let's use an example. I want to call from the Bristol caller ID. I just do one-time caller ID, and when I call out from there now, that would present the number. You can also go and change that back, so I'll just leave it on my default. What you can see down here is when I was talking to you about ringing from the desk phone or the mobile or the soft phone. So you can choose where you initiate your call from. So the soft phone would effectively ring from the laptop. So if you had a pair of headphones connected to the laptop, that would work. If you had a USB headset connected, that would also work, or some Bluetooth headphones. If you wanted to call from the desk phone, you just tap yes. So if I make a call out of there now, what will happen is my phone that's sat in our Swindon office would light up and effectively start ringing. So that wouldn't really be ideal in current climate. And then the last one option is mobile. So how this effectively works is it calls you back. So if I was to type in a number and ring that, what would happen then is my phone would get a phone call from my own number. It would look a bit strange, but you'd show your own direct dial. You'd answer it, and then once you've answered it, it would effectively bounce on to the next call. So it bounces onto this number. So it avoids the awkward scenario of when you call up and somebody's already there, because before you answered it, our system basically stops that. The next thing is conference calling. So I did touch on it in the slides, but I think once you've seen it, it will become a bit easier to understand. So conference calling, we've got a few different ways of doing conference calling. We've got the traditional way, so every user would get their own conference line with a PIN number. So you could have what we would call the traditional way of conference calling. Or you could use which is my preferred way of doing it, is the drag and drop conference calling. So to initiate a conference call, all I would need to do is tap conference, see some of my internal extensions down here. So let's say I want to talk to Adam, and I want to talk to Gareth, and I want to talk to Lauren. I want to choose to initiate the conference call from my soft phone, and I want to go into the instant conference room. All I would do is tap join, and that initiates a conference call straight away. So it does ring in quite quickly. What you can also do is midway through the conference calls, you can basically kick certain people out, or you can also add more people in by dragging and dropping them into the call. So you'll see here that we've done internal extensions. Up here, the option is to add externals. So if you wanted to dial in another number, you could do that in here, and that would add them into the call. So that's conference calling for internal and external. Let's change that back. When we spoke earlier on about voicemail, so voicemails are recoverable in here. So Adam, if you can hear me, if you can just call my extension and leave me a voicemail, we can show how that would work. Okay, perfect. So see the phone is ringing. We'll let that dial out. So we'll carry on. So that's voicemail. We'll come back to that. The next thing is group. So as I said to you, the concept of Facebook and WhatsApp, group chat, you kind of think about it very similar.
Hope you're well. Give me a call when you can. Cheers. Bye.
Yeah. So the voicemail's been left and it pops up. Just carry on with the group chat. So you've got Adam, Gareth, and Lauren again. Initiate that call, tap start, and you're in. So there's your group chat, almost instantly created. It's worth saying the group chat on here is only for internal extensions for the time being. It may come around that we open that up, but for the time being, it's for internal only. So going back to voicemail, you can see here that the voicemail came through instantly and I can listen to it. So if I press play, that'll play through my laptop. But not only that, if I go into my online self-care, if we're going to do the next part of the demo one, you will see that the voicemail's here. You can see my stats for today. This is the demo portal, so it doesn't really get used. But you can see 2 calls today and 30 seconds of talk time. If I click on my voicemail, if I just hover over this little guy here, you'll see that Adam has left me a voicemail. You can play that down here too, or download it or delete it, so you can manage it from here. If you do delete it here, what happens is it deletes it across all of your profiles. When you log in and log out again, it will get rid of it. That's your voicemail. When you right click on, the next part of this is groups. So you can also set your phone system up to have groups. So we've got Complete IT, Demo, Sharp Team, and then we've got Telephony. So if I click on Complete IT, all these people here work for Complete IT. Click off of it, and it'll give you all the options again. So you can set it up. So if you have got more extensions than what you can see on one screen, you can search them through here. Or you can, of course, just search for their name. The next part is integration. How do we integrate? How does this work? This is pulling through all of my contacts, and what it's doing is it's looking at my local Outlook file. So this is pulling through all my contacts. So what you saw a minute ago when Adam rang my phone, Adam's name popped up. Assuming you had the contact into your Outlook, it will pop up also. We also touched earlier about Google and Gmail. This would also talk to Gmail. So your Gmail account would link directly with the app, and you'd see your Gmail contacts, and then the CRM integration is there, and that's where we pull through all your CRM contacts too. The next part is favorites. So if you did have some people in your organization that you spoke to quite regularly, you can right-click them, and you can add them to favorites, just down there, and you'll see it pulls through there. But you can also do that with external people too. So if you've got some customers which you talk to quite regularly, or a member of the team which maybe isn't on the phone system, so let's use Anthony DeFazio, I can right-click on him, add him to my favorites, and he will also appear there too. So you can quite quickly see that you can build a personal profile in the software which would match you. So, and your users can all do that individually. The one thing we haven't showed yet is call management and how call management works. Adam, would you go to bring my extension again, please? So when the phone rings, my mobile phone is ringing, my phone is ringing in the office, and also my phone is here. If I was to answer the call, you can now see what's going on. So you can mute, hang up, transfer, hold, put to voicemail, or park. Down here, you can see that the call recording has kicked in. So because I'm an admin user, I can pause my call recording. I can stop my call recording, and I can start it again. I can also, if I click this button here, which I won't do because it will then start ringing my phone again, I can flick between my mobile app and my desk phone, which is quite nice. You do get a dial pad. And for call management, I mean, how you manage the calls, if I want to transfer Adam's call to somebody else internally, all I need to do is get Adam's face and just drag and drop. And you see what pops up on top of Lauren's face. You've got blind transfer and attended transfer. We always recommend going attended only because it gives you the choice, gives Lauren the ability to be able to say, actually, I don't want to take Adam's call. The attended transfer gives you the chance to say, hi Lauren, Adam's on the phone for you. Do you want to take his call? Yes or no? Also, so you can also transfer out, but not only can you do that, you can also initiate conference calls from the screen. So I'm having a conversation with Adam, and actually we need Lauren to be involved in this call. I can just drag Lauren's face and drop her into our call. and then again, you'll see there instantly it creates a conference call. So it's nice and easy. The concept of it, of drag and drop, is the same across all of the platform, and you can also add, again, still add your external numbers in there if you need to. So that is a bit of a whistle-stop tour of the software. Hopefully that gives you some insight behind the powers of it and how it could potentially work in your organisation, or if you dive into the core and you've got it, you might see some of the features that you've not seen before, which you can implement locally. So I think how this works, man, you're going to have to excuse me, as I'll stop sharing my screen. I think we've got some questions that have come up.
Joe, I'll read out the questions, if that helps.
Yeah.
So the first question, can you say what platform this is based on, please?
Yeah, it's the product is called Switch, and it's built by a company called Telco Switch. And we effectively white label the service as Complete Telephony and support it all in-house.
Are clients able to make changes to the configuration of extensions or the IVR, for example, themselves?
Yeah, they are, yeah. So we give, if you want it, we can give you full admin access. So anything we can do, you can do effectively. And we'll also show you how to do all of those things. So we'll either support you on making the changes, or we'll just make the changes for you. So you have two options. You can do it yourself, or you can contact the help desk and we'll do it for you.
And is there any Microsoft Teams integration planned?
Yeah, so there actually is Teams integration available at the moment. So effectively the way that works is the Teams hub, if you like, would be your interface, but the back end of it would be our software. We haven't rolled it out yet, it's still in testing, but it is very close. So yeah, it is available, it is coming very soon.
And the next one, can the phones take a wireless headset, or is that only on soft phone?
Can the phones take a wireless? Yes. So some phones can, depending on which phone you've gone for. The two which we kind of dived into a bit more detail on, so you've got the Yealink T46S and the Yealink T54W. The T54W has got Bluetooth built into it, so you could connect a Bluetooth headset. If you had the T46S, you'd need to get an adapter for the back of it, and that would work.
Are there any plans to integrate HubSpot CRM that you know of?
Yes, so HubSpot CRM is integratable at the moment. The way that works is you have to be on our contact center, so you can do that. So we didn't advertise it on here. So HubSpot does work, but only with contact center, which is a slightly different license to what we've spoken about today, but it is available if it's needed.
Does the call center have an API that I could use to hook into for Power BI reporting?
That's a question I'm going to need to go away and ask and answer. I wouldn't want to answer it and not know the full detail, but I can find that and come back.
Okay. When you do a click and dial, how do you set it to use the app rather than your personal mobile minutes?
Your personal mobile minutes. So let me show you that. 2 seconds. You would do that in the selection in the bottom right hand corner. So can you see my screen, Jess?
No, we can't.
Okay, 2 seconds. Oh, sorry, I minimized the screen. Share screen. So, is that popped up now, Jess?
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent. So just down here in the bottom right hand corner, this is where you'd select, and you'd select mobile for that.
Perfect. Oh, we've got lots of questions coming in. Does the soft phone answer phone identify which line the message was left on? For example, you've got 5 incoming lines. Which line had the message left on?
It would identify off the back of the DVI. So assuming that the call didn't come into an IVR, so if it didn't bounce in through the IVR and came from a direct dial, it would pick up that direct dial as where it's come from, yes.
I think what they meant, unless I've misunderstood that. So will it show that they were calling to the Thames Valley number? So in the incoming lines, are they calling different numbers to get hold of you, or it's the same number?
Right, I sort of see what you're saying. So the way that it would pick it up is it would pick it up locally. So the answer to that is no, it wouldn't. It would ring it through. It would pick it up as the local extension, not as the direct dial.
Okay, I may have misunderstood that one.
That's
so
fine.
the next one, how do you access the mobile phone app?
So that's a nice one. So how we do it at the start is we'd send out an email to the users that have got an extension configured. And inside of that email, it will give them a link to download the app. So you just click download, you scan a QR code, and you get straight into the app on the mobile and also on the soft phone on the computer.
Okay, and last few questions, unless more come in. Can you install with only having internal extensions, not direct dials?
Can you install with only having internal? Yes, you can. So all these people here won't have direct dials. These will be internal extensions only. So I think if I'm answering the question correctly, if they were to ring into the main line and we wanted to transfer the calls out to the internal extensions, you could do that, yeah.
Is there a reception version of the phone's console software?
Yeah, there is. There's a reception version for the desktop. To be honest with you, most of our people that work on reception are comfortable with how they would transfer calls from here. So this is kind of a bit further ahead than what other people have got. If you do have more extensions and you wanted to manage it, you could effectively have more people on your screen, smaller icons. So that would be how we set it up for receptionists. So the answer is yes, and it's very easy to use.
Perfect. And is there a virtual demonstration available for prospective clients?
Yes, there is. And we can set them up following today's call.
Do you have contact details for us to book in a virtual demonstration?
Yeah. Jess, do you want to give the contact details? I don't know how this works. Would you send an email afterwards with all of our details in?
Yeah,
With
absolutely.
Contact inquiries?
Yeah, so I'll send an email out with Joe's details in if you're interested in booking a demo or just want some more information following the webinar.
And that also gives us the ability to find out a bit more about what you've got at the moment and some examples of how we potentially move people from existing platforms that you've got to ours. So yeah, we can do all of that, go through your extension management and hopefully give you a bit more insight to the product.
Perfect. And I think that's all the questions. So thank you very much, Joe.
Thanks everybody for joining.